Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIII-2. I'm Mysterious JG, and after much deliberation, I think we should go ahead and just win the main game story. You can skip a lot of the side quests we've already done and still finish the main game story, and to tell you the truth, I've collected more fragments than I did when I played this game years ago when it was brand new. And one of the neat things, well, no, neat is the right word, something I learned from this strategy guide that I didn't know was that the more fragments you have, it actually makes the final boss confrontations easier. And that plus, stuff I've learned from the wiki with infusing monsters and blah, blah. I've got a pretty powerful party built up. So I kind of feel like this game's got a lot of post-content. Another thing I'm learning only from reading the manual, there's all sorts of stuff you can't do till after you've won the main story. Some bosses you can't fight until after you've won the main story. The DLC bosses you can fight before you've won the main story if you choose to, but some of them are tougher than the final boss of the main game, so why would you? So yeah, what I'm getting at is I think it's time for us to actually win the game. And that won't be the end of the LP. Unlike my Let's Play, probably my favorite Let's Play I've done, Final Fantasy X, back in the day, I intentionally did some, superpower leveled, fighting optional super bosses stuff, and intentionally held off the end of the game until after all that was done. I even had a separate save file where my characters weren't superpower leveled and beyond where you needed to be to win the game, so that I could load that file and actually win the game and have the boss battles at the end of that game be as difficult as they should be. This game's not going to work like that. This game, well, you'll see for yourself when we get to the ending. One of the big criticisms to this game is that they don't really make an effort to make this story conclude properly, unlike Final Fantasy XIII, which definitely had an ending. This game, I guess they had a trilogy of games in mind. This game very much ends setting up the next game rather than really concluding the story in a satisfactory way on its own. And no spoilers other than the fact that, yeah, this game kind of leads into the next one a bit. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal if I win the game and then come back and show you the post-game stuff. But more importantly than that, there is an optional, you win the game a second time added ending that we can get, and that'll be the end of the LP. So you might notice more than one save slot here. I'll explain that in a second, but let's get going with the end game of Final Fantasy XIII-2.
Final Fantasy XIII-2, the story so far.
Blimey!
Surrender now to your heart's desire.
Being stabbed by me.
Come with
and
me.
I don't mean in a sexy way either. Come with me if you want to live.
We'll be able to be together again, right?
I'm not gonna answer that one. But she doesn't. She just kind of wanders off. So I'm hoping I can show it kind of from the beginning, but oh. Yeah, Academia 500. I kind of went in and did some stuff, which is why I've saved some other files. 500 is fuck.
That supports Cocoon is starting to crumble. The people of Academia have been evacuated to the new Cocoon. Now all that remains is to launch the Ark into the sky. It is the moment of reckoning. Destruction and rebirth hang in the balance. Two futures, two possibilities, and a battle to determine the fate of the world.
Sounds pretty neat. Actually, now that I think about it, I meant to start this video with a recap of the story, but we're already 4 minutes in, so I doubt I'll get all the way to the end boss in one video, so maybe next time we'll recap how we came here, because 500 as fuck, Academia, kind of the end game. I know it looks like there's another place we unlock after this. That'll make sense in a minute, but it's kind of it. So I guess this is because there's chaos, paradox energy or something going on. I don't know. Let's check out our fragment skills. Encounter master off. Which means we're not messing with the encounter rate. You got something to say?
Way too serious. It's
Why
like you're about
so
to head off to a final
serious?
showdown with your nemesis or something.
Oh,
If that's
zany
the
because
case,
we are.
you should spend an absurd amount of gil at my shop. It might help you win. Come on, lighten up and pull that gil out of your wallet.
I kind of have spent an absurd amount of gil off screen, but you'll see that shortly. Yeah, I'm down to like half of this much money. Nah.
It doesn't matter whether you win or lose. The only thing that matters is whether I win or lose in this game called life.
So it doesn't matter if we win or lose. Got it. And she has this little carbuncle doll, which was kind of a thing in the last game. If we examine this... I don't know. I feel like there's some stuff that I meant to show... Okay, well, I didn't get this treasure chest, so I probably... Yeah, I'm gonna wander around here for a bit, and eventually... matter of fact, I'm gonna set the encounter... No, I'm not gonna mess the encounter rate at all.
Watch. If you follow the movements closely, you can see there's some sort of pattern.
Yeah.
If we get the pattern down, we can get past them.
And this is what I'm on about here. Oh fuck, oh fuck. In my off-screening, I've already gotten past this zone because I was fighting enemies here, trying to get drops that I needed to get better whoppets, otherwise known as weapons. Like running around here, just trying to encounter it. Or actually, I think it was over there somewhere. There's not really a lot of enemies to encounter here. And as you can see, we have floaty jump. Kind of critical for this zone. There's enemies you fight here to get drops. I'll fight them if they show up. I'm not going to seek them out because they're just palette swaps of... Yeah, it's like... You've seen guys that look like this before, right? Yeah. And those memes are invincible when they're summoning stuff. It's kind of weird. And there's more than one enemy it can encounter and spawn. One of the enemies... This is really annoying. Like, there's 2 sets of weapons you can build at the beginning of each act. One of them increases the ATB charge rate by more than weapons in the previous act did. One of them increases the stagger bonuses. The stagger bonus one requires a rare drop item from an enemy that is summoned by those guys. Like 1 out of every 5 times you fight them, they summon this enemy and it has like a 1% drop rate. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm never gonna build that weapon, so, you know, whatever. I don't know that I went any farther along on this path, actually. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but I want to kind of show off. That might be the only bit of dialogue that there is that you guys didn't already see, in which case I can load and have a slightly powered up party. Serah and Noel aren't gaining any levels at all. I mean, you guys know that. But I do have some, there was some off-screening that, well, let's just say that our paradigm pack might be a little different. Yep, I'm still wearing this ridiculous outfit, folks. There's DLC outfits that are even sillier. I could be going around in a swimsuit. Yeah, this game doesn't really pretend that it's not for pervs. Well, Japan has got a thing, actually, where I guess these games do well with female gamers in Japan, too. Like, you can have a game with the female protagonist, and, like, you know, female gamers will enjoy being able to play as a female character who's, like, competent. But they'll still give you, like, all sorts of DLC, like, cheesecake outfits that you can wear. Why am I fighting these guys? These guys are not worth the time. Although I don't already have them. Rather, I probably captured them on my other slot. I don't even remember. Because, I mean, I kind of don't care. At one point, really early in this LP, I figured I was going to capture one of every enemy in the game, but I don't think there's even, like, an Xbox achievement for that. Like, there's no point. Not that if there was an Xbox achievement, it would be totally worth doing, but, like, what I'm getting at here is that you're not even really rewarded for it in, like, the sense of, I think, like, way back in the day, that one of the Final Fantasy games that didn't come to America until they did, like, those, collections, when it had, like, some kind of super dragon boss like Shinryu and Omega Weapon, and, like, defeating them gave you a unique key item that just sat in your inventory and says, basically, you defeated this guy. Oh, I would have to fight you, or you're just... Yeah, I think I wasn't absolutely sure. I thought I would just explore a bit in case there was a cinematic I forgot about. But other than listening to them talk about, oh, there's a pattern, you can proceed, and blah, blah. That's all there is. So let's, I'm going to hit this cactus, the little cactuar statue. And then we will, assuming it doesn't lead to some kind of dialogue. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I never got all the way to that. So let's actually load the game. And I'll showcase my new Paradigm Pack. And we will proceed from there. 2243. Hopefully this is the right one. I don't think that ever auto-saved and saved over. I made sure to do separate slots. Otherwise, to tell you the truth, I was up... I had a night that I was going to record, and I just ended up off-screening this game instead. And I would lose quite a bit of progress if... as far as the Paradigm Packs and, you know, guest monsters and stuff. Ah, yeah, this is the correct one. Okay. So you'll notice some things that are a little different. Well, I went into the DLC and I fought some of the DLC bosses. And I will showcase those battles in a later video. But just like I got Saz and, you know, Goddess Etro Lightning, Knight of Etro Lightning, whatever she's called, without showing that, because I was going to show it off later, but I just wanted to have the use of those. Similarly, it's like, yeah, I kind of want to have some of these monsters at my disposal. So I'll show you how to fight those bosses later. And I almost used this play session to show it now, but decided instead to do the main story. But I've got Omega Weapon, which has actually replaced Etro Knight Lightning, because I think Omega is actually better against single targets. Lightning, I have found, is kind of better against a group of weak enemies, because she's got a really good, you know, area of effect attack stuff. Omega has just, as a commando, it's got, well, for one thing, I fed it monsters in such a way, and this was using the Final Fantasy wiki to help me out. It has some weird innate abilities, one of which is called Feral Fatigue, where if you use its Feral Link, it gets status ailments. So the Final Fantasy wiki suggests hey, it's got Feral Surge, boosts attributes when the Feral Link is good, and Feral Fatigue inflicts set assailments when Feral Link abilities are used. So just don't use its Feral Link. It also has something called Leaden Strike, which reduces ATP gauge recharge rate, but you can do, I'm doing Attack ATP Charge 2 and Siphon Boost 2, which are two things that the Final Fantasy Wiki suggests. It makes it get ATB pretty fast, and I've also given it Chain bonus boost. This thing launches lots and lots and lots of really fast single target attacks. It's almost like a Ravager Commando combo, because it's like, I don't know, it's really good for building chain boosts, chain gauge, and it's just good. You'll see, it's pretty damn good. We had that Pulse soldier for a long time. It served us really well. But much like the Fish Monster from Lennis 2, eventually it just had to go, because we got a better character. The Bunker Beast is pretty much superior to it in every way. I caught this thing. The Final Fantasy guide, the hard copy guide I've been using, which I just tapped as though you could see me, recommends this thing, and I was like, yeah, I guess I'll get one if I get one. But while hunting for another monster, I finally captured one of these and leveled it up all the way. It's got about 2.5 times as many hit points as the Pulse Soldier. And I fed it the Pulse Soldier, which is, really... It's like, thanks for your long service. You will now be eaten by a Bunker Beast. But it's basically better in every way. I haven't been using it much because I kind of just finished leveling it up as I decided to record. But also, I got some other fun new friends as well, which I'm not really using, but I have captured them. I leveled up... I got Ultros. That's a DLC boss battle monster. I leveled him up all the way. And kind of don't find him to be... I mean, I could feed him more things and give him more skills, but I think I'm just going to keep Zaz. So a lot of effort went into leveling him up, and I'm probably just not really going to use him too much. Nabat, who was an interesting character in Final Fantasy XIII, in that she was kind of built up like she was going to be a big deal, and then she just kind of gets killed by the main villain. Like, so it's just like, she's built up, and it seems like it's going to be important, and then you never actually get to defeat her. She never appears as a boss, which they kind of reference in her description in the Colosseum DLC. It's like, yeah, it seemed like it was going to be kind of a big deal to fight her, and you don't. And I referred to her throughout that game as, like, the evil, sexy librarian dominatrix, because I guess it's not a riding crop. It seemed like it was kind of a riding crop type of deal, that she's going around whacking guys, and she's got glasses, and she throws her hair back, which is where sexy librarian comes in, and the riding crop is why I was saying she's dominatrix. But she is neither actually a librarian, nor is there any indication that she is a dominatrix, so both of those are just me being silly. What else? I already had Lightning. I was going to show off how I got her, but at one point I fed her to Omega, so I had to, after doing that, it took me a really long time to get another one, but I eventually got another one. And I'm just looking for things that are worth mentioning to you. Necton? No, Necton is not. I can't remember the names of people. Mr. Typhon, spoiler alert, Typhon will be involved in the battle, the same DLC battle where we fight Ultros. Mr. Typhon appears. I always thought his name was Typhoon back in Final Fantasy III, which some people call 6, but I don't, because I'm ignorant American. We got a gold chocobo, which I'm pretty sure we can never replace. I read that somewhere. And Etronite Lightning, which I didn't feed her to anybody, but I did kind of... she has been kind of supplanted by Omega, which is a shame. I like this character. I know it's silly. Hold on, it's the wrong side. She has angel feathers or goose feathers or whatever on one side, and the other side is just like a constant butt shot. So if she had some kind of skirt or leggings or something that made her less cheesecakey, I would really enjoy the design. Otherwise, it's like she's so close to being like kind of looking like a badass, dignified character, but not quite. Amadar, I think you guys have already I don't know if I showed him off on camera, but you get him in the same DLC boss fight where you get lightning. And I think that is it. The other DLC boss fights, which I have not yet been able to win, I still can't beat Snow. There is a Snow DLC boss fight. You've seen Snow, his character model that we made in the story. You get to use that as a guest monster. And also, I'm completely blanking on his name right now, but, well, you'll see him later. I just got done fighting him in Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, and we get to fight him in Gilgamesh, that's right. He's a DLC monster in this game. It took me like half an hour to whittle him down to 50% health, and then he started gaining the ability to like one-shot my whole party, so I do not know what I'm supposed to be able to do to win that fight, but it's clearly more difficult than the story end game, so we'll get to it later. Alright, so I feel like I've wasted a lot of time. Some of these paradigms were set up because of things I was doing off screen, but I think this will serve me fairly well for the final boss fights. But we will stick with Relentless Assault X. Actually, these are very much not fighting regular enemies. These are for fighting yeah, let me switch it to wide just for purposes of beating up regular enemies.
The time foretold in the prophecies is here at last. It is 500
as fuck. So we'll get as far into this as we can. This is a little combination video. Beginning of Academia 500 as fuck, and me showing off some of the off-screen acquisitions to our party. Later videos, I will actually go through and win those DLC fights. For now, we are starting over, and okay, good. This is approximately as far as I got off-screen, so I don't think we've missed anything. So if you fall off the edge, you just go back to the beginning, and it's kind of a waste of time, so you don't want to fall off the edge. That's pretty much what's going on. There are cases where you can fall down from one thing and land on something below you, but most of the stuff that appears below us is purely decorative. We have not actually climbed, like this is kind of the lowest level of, despite the appearance, this is actually the lowest level of platform you can interact with, I believe. And the other stuff that's around is decorative. The other stuff that's below. Once we climb up here, the ability to jump down on stuff will appear. And there are treasure chests, and like there is a treasure chest over there that I've already gotten off screen. I guess I will... I kind of messed up. I meant to showcase all the stuff. But you know what I can do to make this move a little faster is I will set Encounter Master, which I had for more enemies because I was trying to encounter specific enemies that dropped items I wanted. So I will higher sell price. Yeah, it doesn't actually give you the option of making things more expensive. Encounter Master is the only one that we have so far that gives you the ability to select different things. This game very much, for LP purposes, I don't know if I like it or hate it, but I think it was like designed with the idea that you were going to sink a whole bunch of time and energy into grinding for specific items, and because you can get to the main story if you ignore all side quests and are willing to win battles by the skin of your teeth at the end game, you can get to the main story faster than I have. But I haven't done all of the, like, stuff that you can do with, like, oh, this is not a good idea. Oh, fuck. I meant to jump back so that I wouldn't get dumped off of that thing, and... should have touched the Cactuar statue. I think the point of the Cactuar statues is that they become new continuation points when you screw up, as I did. We may have a few videos worth of this nonsense. But you'll see... Try to save time and not wait for things to cycle through their patterns all the way before you jump. Sometimes comes back to bite you. Sometimes it works out fine. Trimming the corners there. But I want to do a full exploration of the map because one of the crystal or one of the fragments you get is for fully exploring every map. And no, I don't care about you jerks. I can't possibly encounter them on this thing, so leave me alone, yeah. But what was I getting at there? Yeah, we need to get all the fragments to see the secret ending. So I don't mind an RPG that has lots of bonus stuff that you don't have to do that seems like time killers because I just don't have to do it. But now that I'm LPing it, I'm like, maybe I should have picked a game to LP that... Because when you LP stuff, you kind of want to do a full clear, right? Yeah, maybe I should have picked something with a little less... fewer time sinks, let's put it that way. So you're not really getting a chance to see Omega in action because either Omega or Lightning, either one in our party would make that go really fast. Oh, Phoenix Blood. I actually think I need some of that for fancy items I might be trying to build later. But when I say I might be trying to build, I mean I'm probably going to build them if... Did I hit the Cactuar statue that I mentioned hitting? I don't think I did. Does this thing not swing around? It looks like it's going to swing around. I mean, it's been sitting here for a whole cycle. So I guess it's... just looks like it's going to swing around, and it doesn't. Okay, so that's a way that you can accidentally... You can make some progress and then accidentally find yourself back here. But you can see if you this is a place you can come to. Boom. Treasure chests. And more treasure chests. Don't care about you guys. Leave me alone. Hopefully I'm not forced to fight them from a location they couldn't possibly get to. Is something going to move around so that I can jump on it? Nope. Just going to have to jump to my death. Which isn't really my death. But at least I can go someplace new and exciting I haven't been to before. Like, I really haven't been here before, not even off screen. So this way is probably not progress, but there's probably a treasure chest or something. Oh, what the hell, we just... Yeah, I mean, we don't have much ground to make up when we fail there, because that's why I was willing to take the chance. Because our little mechanical, like, our little, like, pitfall, hairy Cactuar guy is close by. I have a Shaman's Mark, which is... No, screw you guys. And I'm still not used to Omega Weapon, which is like... freaking blocks the camera a lot. And every so often we go into a random encounter and I'm like, whoa, there's some kind of spider robot we have to fight. Oh, never mind, that's actually Omega Weapon. He's on my side. See, yeah, you hear that like whoop, whoop, that pew pew that the Omega Weapon's doing? That killed Mimi really fast. Like you can hear the pew pew and watch the health meters of enemies, and that pew pew noise is not good for the enemy's health. Alright folks, I'm going to call it a video here. When we come back, I'm actually going to do a quick recap of the story, as best as I can remember it, which may be amusing, or it might not. And then we'll continue with Academia 500 as fuck. I'm Serious JG. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.